Hi, welcome. Tonight we've got JT Heenan, recruiting coordinator for Salem baseball. Appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me, Marty.
So tell me a little bit about the program here at Salem. You've been here, it's your first year. What's happening?
So where it started with me was, as you know, I coached with the Aces and worked for Prep Baseball Report. And 2 years ago we had played Salem and we'd beat them twice. So, my first experience with Salem wasn't necessarily a positive one for the university. And then we come back this year and we get our teeth kicked in, and you can tell the culture's changed, and guys have a lot of energy. And we were beating them, and they came back and then scored a bunch of runs and pitched really well. And I was like, man, that's a really well put together program. And then I was fortunate enough, I got a call a couple weeks later from Coach Rouse, and he was like, hey man, we got an opening. Our former recruiting coordinator got a head coaching job, and I came down here and, almost like a recruit, and what drew me in was the people. It was Coach Rouse, it was Coach Pete, Coach Albert, and the culture that he provided. And to me, what we got going here is it's guys coming, they work every day, they don't make excuses, and they just want to get better. And, I haven't been exposed to a lot of environments like that. So to me, it wasn't, a lot of shiny things. It was just the culture and the people. So, that's where we're at.
Awesome. So walk me through a little bit of your background. What's your baseball background, and what do you bring to Salem?
Okay, so as we've talked about before, my background's a little wild. I'm from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and played high school baseball. Wasn't blowing anyone's doors off. Played Legion ball. Never thought, I thought I was going to be a football player. I was, won a bunch of scholarships for football, and so my last high school game, I thought that was going to be my last game. And fortunately, my dad pressured me into trying out for a college summer league, and I did that, excelled in that. And then I went to West Virginia for school, and, I had a really good summer. And they said, a couple guys were like, you should go try out for the real team. And had an unbelievable tryout. And fortunately, Coach Mazey kept me around. I think being a catcher helped. So caught every single pitcher on the team the first day. And then I asked him, do you want me to come back tomorrow? And he said, yeah, we'll take you. And then I came back the next day, wore me out some more. I asked him again on Saturday. I was like, still want to come back? And he said, yeah, we inter-squatted. And then Sunday I just said, hey, I'm just going to keep coming until, until you tell me to leave. So that, I was there the whole fall. And then, it had turned out that, we were short a bunch of catchers, and they kept me to catch bullpens and kind of rest our other catcher. And he got me in at bat, so I could say that I played, and then I really enjoyed my time there, and then transitioned into a assistant camp coordinator, and helped with operations, and was a student assistant coach there. Really enjoyed it. I got to work with some of the best players, built some really good relationships, and then upon graduating with my master's, linked up with Josh Kirkendall for Prep Baseball Report. Coached the Aces and did a bunch of clinics, spoke at some clinics, obviously saw some of the best players in the state, got to coach at Lake Point, which is an unbelievable experience, coaching Team West Virginia, and then coaching the Aces, and just kind of word of mouth, I ended up here. So that's where we're long story, overall, that's where we're at now.
So as a recruiting coordinator, so a lot of people know what position coaches do. They know what the head coach does. The recruiting coordinator, sometimes for parents and families, a little mysterious. Can you tell me a little bit about that role, like what your responsibilities are?
So this is obviously new for me too. I was WVU. I just pretty much helped with on-campus recruiting because I wasn't one of the top three. So I obviously had the learning from you, but also learning from Josh and then friends. That, before taking this job, is the recruiting coordinator kind of defines as to who you need and your wants, and then how you're going to get them. So here at Salem, Coach Rouse is a lot more hands-on than others. He's the best, so he knows what he's not overbearing, but he's a guy that he knows what he's doing. So I'm obviously going to take advice from him. But I just help coordinate. Well, primarily I coordinate where we're going to go in the summers, who we're going to see. If it's a guy that we've seen before, maybe at a showcase, or it's a guy we've seen in high school. We're going to go see him again. So in May, we'll go to high schools we know that we have guys that we're interested in, or we want to see that we will be interested in. And then in the June and July, I'll decide as to where it seems to be essential that we need to go see other players. So it might be, the Cincy Flames tournament. It could be, I'll be in Lake Point again. It could be, really a tournament wherever like the Aces are, or like US Elite. Your big organizations that we've reached out to players, and then August it'll be we'll sit down. Who are the guys that we want? Who are the guys we really think are going to be Tigers? Who are good fits? We've talked on the phone. We've texted. We've had good conversations, and then we'll bring them on campus in August or in the fall, and if they're willing, that's a big part. And then we decide, what their necessary like scholarship or if they're a walk on.
So tell me about what a typical day looks like from a standpoint of not like the practice, the time with the guys, but the computer time on the phone calls, watching videos. What's that?
Well, it's funny because I had said to you, I was like, Coach Ross just sent me a guy. You know what I mean? Like the computer time and the phone time. I mean, that never stops. But it's something I enjoy. Like it's fulfilling because you're giving players an opportunity to pursue their dreams. Because like I said, I thought mine was over in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I think my perspective's a little different, that I wasn't like a blue chip guy or I wasn't pursued by anybody because I never played in front of a college coach. So for me, it's like, hey man, you want to come be a Tiger? And I believe in what we're doing. So this is the culture we got. Here's all the resources we have. So the computer, but like going in, I'll get in usually like 9:30. All us coaches get a lift in. That's kind of, it's a taxing day. You want to start it positive. So I do it on my own. The other, with coaches get together, lift. We'll come in and then, if we have to-do lists, things to do, we'll do. But usually as soon as you get on, you check your email. We check field level. We check front rush. We'll do that for about the first hour. Typical day in the fall would be a tour. Honestly, we how you talk about casting a wide net for the recruit. We cast a wide net on who we're recruiting, because it's not only just their fit, but do they fit with us? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a big, characters are the primary thing. I can coach up a kid in 2 or 3 years. I can't, coaching their character, if the kid has 18 years of, character flaws, that's harder to, weed out. So, come in, look at, film, whatever's sent to us. So I usually shoot text at that time too. I know the kids are in school or JUCO guys might be. I'll shoot some text and catch up on my notes, or take notes on hitters, and then we'll either have a tour or go through some other stuff. We'll have lunch, and then usually with us, our schedule, we're done at noon. Like our kids are done at noon with classes, so we usually go to practice after that. So usually practice, get at the field 1:30, leave around 5, and then that night it's phone calls on the way home. It's following up on text messages. I do a lot of like you're writing at that time as is this guy, like I'll reflect on my notes and also like practices, plan for the practice the next day. But biggest thing, it's funny you said that because it's all the time, man. But it's fun. It's fun.
So you mentioned some recruiting events earlier. What are some of the key recruiting events that you guys go to that you guys have had some success with in the past?
I know Addie. So like I said, this is I'll kind of introduce some more. But Addie, I know has a lot of success. He goes into he'll go to like dynamic tournaments, but we go to, obviously I will too, but we go to a lot of PBR events. Because if you go to a prep baseball report event, the information is going to be verified. The kid's committed because they're investing in it. And there's no wool being pulled over your eyes. I know another event we will go is we'll go to the Futures and Junior Futures game. That'll be the first time we do that. Just because, again, it's the best kids all over. I know I've used that now. Hey, I was down there watching you. I'm talking to a kid right now. I was down there watching you at the Futures games. You're a good player. And, we had talked about before, there's so many kids who just haven't been seen. So I can't recruit a kid if I haven't seen you, But prep baseball report events, we'll go to some prospect camps. We go to WVU camp. WVU puts together some really good camps. I know. I was there before putting them together, so I hope they've done a much better job now since I've left. But we'll go down there, and besides that, we go to a lot of like PBR dynamic tournaments during the summer too.
So talk to me a little bit about, you guys are getting ready to go to an event.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just blindly showing up? What happens prep work?
Mm-hmm.
So you got an event this weekend. What's the prep work? What are you doing beforehand?
So a good example is the preseason All-States this weekend. I am checking who's going to be there, the years. I might look up video if they're on field level. If they're, I'll look at their prep baseball report profile. I'll look at our notes on Front Rush to see if we're on them, if anyone's reached out to them. Another thing is Coach Rouse is the most connected man on the planet. I mean, I've never met anyone, and I know some coaches too. I've done the ground forces prep baseball report, so I know some coaches too. So I might reach out to somebody before I go, and then before that as well, I'll look at what we need. I think that's big as well. I mean, at a Division II level, and again, this is my style. I'm not necessarily recruiting like, I need 2 shortstops. I'm going to recruit people primarily. I mean, I'm going to recruit a guy if he's obviously going to have tools, but if he's a worker and he's got a lot of, he's hustling around and he's hitting well, I mean, you can find that out just about asking people. So I'll do that, and then so when you get to the event, you kind of have a short list, and I think being prepared is okay. These are the guys we're looking at, but also having you go to a PBR event or another event, they have a roster for you and their email and their times and their metrics, and you can fill that in. So I would say the proactive is, hey, knowing who I want to see, and then being reactive afterwards. I'm going to go through my notes and be like, okay, this guy was a dude. You know what I mean? I might not, I've seen it with my eyes, but now that I saw he ran a 6'4", and he swung it pretty well, and I can look at his video. Those are kind of all the things that we're doing before an event, just being proactive and reactive, I guess.
So tell me a little bit about what happens behind the scenes. What's your office look like from a recruiting coordinator standpoint? You actually have a board on the wall. Yeah. You got names. You mentioned Front Rush.
Yeah.
What's the behind the scenes look like from an organization
So
standpoint?
usually it's us sitting, we're spread out. So I got this dude, I got this guy I'm excited about, or I know this, this kid, I think we got a shot. And then from that, it's who would be a good fit to go after him. So we're fortunate to have 4 full-time coaches. So if it's it might be my expertise, it might be Peter's our infield guy, Albert is our catching guy, and he's a little younger, and Addy, who's the most energetic guy on the planet, and myself, we all have strengths. So he might send me a guy, and then I'll reach out via phone, email, Front Rush.
Talk a little bit about Front Rush.
So yeah, that's what I was going to say. So Front Rush, if I text the kid, we're going to put those notes in. Okay, so if I have like 2 or 3 guys that I'm, on, hey, he reached out to him at this date, this time, called him at this date, this time, seemed really, I'll put anecdotal notes like seemed really excited to be a Tiger. I mean, I think that's important. So then if I go back, it's measurable. But also if Addy starts talking to him, he's not stepping on our toes as a group. We've recorded what we're doing. So I feel like that's overall with the Front Rush. Field level is just coaches will send you stuff. And it's just kind of sifting through, like, it's not that anyone's bad. I mean, if you're on there, you're proactive in your recruitment. I mean, we're at a Division II level, we're going to recruit. Every stone's going to be unturned. We're going to cast a wide net. We're not avoiding anybody. But it's okay, is this what we need? Is this a guy that's going to fit? Big hitting guy, I'm going to see, is he backshifting a lot? What's the sequence like? Can I coach this guy up? What's the coach saying about him? That's all we do on field level. And then we do have a board. Addy's constantly over there checking things off, right? And we got a list of guys that are assigned, verbally committed, years, positions. We've got the guys that are coming back next year. If you write it down, it's there. It's measurable. It has to be measurable. So I know you're big on players putting that up. They need to do that. You need to like, when did I talk to that coach last? I mean, that's annoying for us as well. If you're interested in my program, you need to be proactive with your recruitment as well. There's nothing more reassuring, and I've recruited guys that you've worked with that are sending me emails that are letting me know what they think, whether it necessarily be in my interest or not, because that candidacy helps us build a program, but also helps them build their recruiting experience and inevitably where they're going to go.
So you got a player that Salem's on their draft board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're interested. What advice do you have? What should they be doing?
Okay, so
maybe go by year.
So Division II level, we can't like actively recruit you until like the start of your junior year, pretty much. I mean, it's like a random date. It's like June 15th. June 15th after their sophomore year, but really it's your junior year. So if I saw you in the summer, or if Addy saw you in the summer, and our process is I don't know what others' process really is. I know like maybe a higher Division I, but our process is, say we see you or we like you, we see a video, we're going to reach out. We're going to say, hey, my name's Coach Heenan, I'm at Salem. I'll tell them what I liked, tell them what I think, tell them, hey, if we talk on the phone, I'll tell you more about our program, how we're going to develop you as a player and a man. And then for them, I would say the biggest thing is do your homework, okay? Because I'm going to tell you all the things I'm excited about. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make you a better person. I'm going to tell you I'm going to make you a better hitter. I'm going to tell you, we got a brand new weight room and a brand new field. I'm going to tell you all those things, but it's your job to know if we have the program for you. It's your job to know if you want to be at a small school, as a player. It's your job to know, hey, is there a junior and a senior there that both start up the middle and I'm a middle infielder? That's on you. I'm recruiting the player. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, if I'm invested in you, I want you here, but you need to make sure it's the right fit for you as well.
So in that whole process, what's first? You want an email, phone call? You want them knocking on the front door? What's the first thing?
I would say first thing. I mean, usually the first thing we do get is an email, because I think that's personal. You can say, I'm working with a shortstop right now. Hey, his subject is I'm very interested. I was like, all right, let's see. So he sends me all his stats. He sent me 4 videos. I mean, to me that's easy because I know you set it up like that as well. It's he knows about the school. I can tell what he's doing. He's got verified information and he's got video I can see. Boom, now all of a sudden he went from a guy I had no idea, and in 5 minutes I'm like, I'm on this kid. You know what I mean? I'm okay with the text too. I've gotten text. I mean, that's usually more personal. But I would say phone call probably wouldn't be the first thing. I like to lead the phone calls because with a college schedule, we're pretty big. We're all over the place. It might be, hey, I got to call you at 8:30 tonight, or I got to call you at 7 a.m. I mean, so I don't want I don't want a kid to be more discouraged. So I would say shoot an email first, get the coach's information. If he opens up that lane of communication, shoot him a text. Some coaches are a little more reserved, but I mean, if you have my info, I'm open. And then the phone calls, kind of add up as you go.
So talk to me a little bit about the recruiting timeline at the D2 level. When do you start reaching out and seeing players, tracking them?
Okay.
When do you actually start recruiting? And then when do you guys have offers going out the door?
So we kind of touched upon, our system, like I said, I don't know exactly how it lines up with other guys. And Coach Rouse is very proactive. We're a good fit together because we're like, hey, I like this guy, let's go get it. So if you started, our season ends May. We'll go see kids in high school, throughout May. We'll see the, kids that we have to travel to go see in June and July. August, we're getting those kids on campus. So whether you're a 20, like right now, whether you're a 20 or 21, so next year would be whether you're a 21 or a 22. We're getting you on campus in August or September, October. Those are primarily the kids we've seen, okay? And then, if we like you after you come on campus, if we feel you're a good fit here, because obviously if you're coming on campus, we feel that way. There's times where we've had kids on campus, we don't offer them, but usually if you're on campus, we're going to send you that offer right away. We're going to, hey, this is what is available. We want to get it done. We want to make sure that this is a good fit for you, and we don't want you to think that you're not, valued. So we're going to offer you pretty much immediately and there's kids who don't come on visits. There's kids who we've seen or we've had video or, we've heard really good recommendations that we'll offer without them getting on campus. So I would say pretty much it's see ya, communicate, seems like a good fit, get you on campus. If we really then think you're a good fit, we're going to offer you right then.
So talk to me about that offer process. So you make me an offer. Mm-hmm. You want to know by 6 o'clock tonight? You want to know in a week? Is it different for different kids?
Yeah,
walk me through that a little bit.
It's different for different kids. Like I said, we cast a wide net, and we're pretty much we have a lot of offers that go out, but the biggest thing I think is it just depends on the time frame of like the recruit. If we have a 2021, like we'll usually, hey, what are you thinking? So I've had some 21s that are like, hey, I want to go finish the summer. I'm going to have a decision by football season. Great. That's great. If we have a 20 pitcher or 20, middle infielder right now, that time frame might be like, look, we need to know in 2 weeks, because if you came on visit and you're having questions about it, you're probably not, this might not be the right fit for you, which is fine, but we're going to need to move on. So I would say for like a junior right now, really by the the end of summer, fall. If you're a 20, it's time to go. We're playing next week. We want to lock up the guys for next year, so then we can go play and compete, and we're scouting reports and developing players. So
So talk to me a little about recruiting area. How big? Do you focus on certain states, regions?
Well, Salem, as you know, Salem International. So what's kind of unique for us is we focus a lot on international students too. So we have a really good scholarship for students that are, outside the states. So, we focus a lot more on Canada than other places, and we have some players that are south of the border as well, and we actually, kids from Australia, but obviously you're not going to Australia to see them. So
I'll go on that trip with you.
Yeah, okay, all right, good. Let's go. I mean,
Trip.
my wife might be a little upset, but we can do it, Marty, if you want. But so that's more of like, hey, we're checking video. I know Coach Rouse is from Cincinnati, so he knows a lot of, like I said, the most connected guy in the world. He'll go a lot of places in that area. I'm, you're our West Virginia guy, really. I mean, I know I'm pretty confident in where the good areas are, and I have some good, resources with you and Josh and, WVU, and they have their camps, and so, and then we'll venture out to New Jersey, New York, but we recruit a lot in junior colleges. I think this is a really good fit for JUCO with our academic schedule, and how we have one class a week, 4 days a week, or one class a month, 4 days a week. A lot of junior college guys thrive in that environment, so we'll recruit. We actually have a junior college in California that we have multiple players from. I mean, we didn't go see those guys play live, but obviously Coach Rouse has a really good relationship with their coach, so we're going to make sure that those guys are, hey, it's a good fit. Obviously you guys have success here, so we're going to recruit them. So again, I use the term cast a wide net because I got that from you, but Coach Rouse talks about we're leaving no stone unturned. If you want to play and you're available and you're a good player, we're gonna find you. And if we can't find you, let me know because I want you. You know what I mean? So the long story short is we're gonna see the guys all over this region. We're gonna find video of guys that are further out, and we're gonna seek out coaches and people we trust that can kind of give us some push towards guys.
You mentioned academics. How does that play a role in when do you want to know that academic stuff? On the front end, middle, back end?
So front end. It's a huge role. I mean, if you're a non-qualifier, it's just conversations ends. To me, it's not something to really focus on because it's like you look at it, okay, we move on. You know what I mean? We move on. So, and then if you come on campus and you're eligible, I mean, are you gonna like it here as much if you're not able to play with your boys? You know what I mean? If you're not able to go compete with them, so am I getting the best out of you as a person if you can't, if you're not academically eligible? And also, I mean, that's a skill that's, in life. I mean, you want a guy that's going to be committed at all times. I mean, I know there's circumstances, but especially here, our academic schedule isn't, I like it a lot. So, and we value it a lot. I mean, we have study hall, all the time. I mean, guys are really, we have I would go to bat that we have one of the best GPAs in, West Virginia for baseball. So, to me, it's the front end. It's, hey, when I get your email, I'm looking at your GPA, I'm looking at your scores. If you're a qualifier, let's go. We can move on. If not, I'm going to turn the page. So, yeah.
So, walk me through maybe position by position. Right-hand pitchers, left-hand pitchers, middle infielders, corner infielders, outfielders, catchers. What are you looking for in those positions? Because a lot of parents are saying, hey, can I play at this level?
Yeah.
Kids are thinking, hey, I can play at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the body types or the measurables that you look for at those positions?
So where do you want to start? Catcher? Let's go catcher. That's where I was. I mean, catcher, it's how's his receivability? Does he come up through the ball? It's how well does he block the ball? You talk to the coach. How well does he work with pitchers? Because I mean, as a catcher, I realize how important that relationship is. If you have a catcher that nobody wants to throw to, it really doesn't matter. But really, when I watch video, is what's his framing look like? Because I can teach you how to block. It's similar to the swing or any other movement. If there's certain projectability, I feel confident in our coaching ability, and then that visit kind of takes over. Is this the kind of kid that I can coach up? Is this the character he has? So for a catcher, it's really is it you want kind of a stockier frame, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of the big body guys stand out, but a catcher doesn't necessarily have to run as well as everybody else. So,
are you looking? So, a player, he's got a perfect game PBR profile. He's got a pop time listed there, arm velo. Is that something you're looking at? Is that a major factor, or?
I look at pop time. To me, like being a catching guy, pop time's not the biggest thing. To me, it's receivability. Can he keep the ball in front of him? Then can he throw a guy out? Because I'm confident in like the biomechanics of throwing, and so for me it's. But I'm a little different. I understand that. But a guy's gonna steal 60% of bases either way. So I'm looking more at if he runs well, that's big for me. But I look at velo too, is that how hard he's throwing, and but pop time. If this guy's like a 2-3 and he his mechanics aren't that great, my mouth starts to water because it's a guy that all right, I can clean that up in 20 minutes of individual work, and then where's he at now? So I would say velo out of their arm, but biggest thing for me is how well do they catch it? How well do they keep it in front of them? And that's a lot of game footage, and you have to go see it. In my opinion, you have to go see a catcher. It's hard to. The catchers that I'm on are guys that I've seen because I realize that you have to have a good relationship. It's a game thing, man. It's easy to block a fastball that a guy throws 40 miles per hour. But how's he doing with the guy who's throwing an 80 slider? Or, spikes a fastball with a guy on third. That's important to me. Corner guys. Can you swing it? That's really what we're looking at. In my opinion, I'm not speaking for necessarily Salem, but I'm looking at you. It's like, are you going to hit 10 homers? You know what I mean? Are you going to drive in a lot of runs? Are you going to, if you're a big guy, character-wise, are you a leader? Because if you're the tallest guy in the room, we're all looking at you. You don't want to be the rotten apple in the group. So really those corner guys, not necessarily size-wise, but, how do you swing it? Are you going to drive in a lot of runs? And then up the middle, it's more of, to me, it's to me it meshes together. How well do you move? How well do you glove it? Our infield coach, it's like, hey Pete, come over here, come look at this guy. What do you think? You know what I mean? Because that's his expertise. So I'm looking at how well you glove it, and then I think a big thing for that as well is if a guy can fling it across the infield. If you're throwing it like 85 across the infield at a showcase in the cold, like I'm invested. I'm bought in. That's a guy that I can work with. And
you got a 60 time you're looking for those middle infield
sub seven. Yeah, that to me it's if you're a skill position. If you're like your wideouts in football. If you're a middle guy or a center fielder, I want a guy who's sub 7. There are guys you go watch them play and they play faster. But our guys up the middle can fly. I think we got a 6'4" and probably a 6'7" up the middle. And it shows. They're on base. We got our big dogs up. They're going to be on second no matter what, whether they hit there or they run there. So middle guys, it's really sub 7. Outfield as well. We're looking at that sub 7 range. We're fortunate that we're in a situation where we have a lot of guys who can run out there. But again, if you're one of those corner guys and you can stick it a little bit, that's there as well. We look at what's it look like coming out of their arm on showcase videos, or if they have a highlight video. Really, I like to watch how they track balls. I think that's something that kind of gets your showcase. You can't really do that. So when you go see a guy play, it's what was his first step like? What was his pre-pitch jump like? Where is he positioning? If he's a center fielder, is he communicating with the corner guys? Those are all things that, if I don't have to coach up. If he already has a base for that and he's been doing that, I'm more invested there too.
You're saving the best for last.
Pitchers, yeah. I guess. I would say the first thing I'm looking at is the eye popper is velo. It really is. If you have a guy who's sent to you and he's 90 plus, it's like all right, we can probably do something with this. We can coach him up a little bit. But when I watch a video, it's I had, all I did was catch pens. So all I saw was the front side of a pitcher. I can tell what, the elite guys do. You know what I'm saying? If I can see the way you move and you're a little under, you're 6'3", but you're, $170, that's intriguing. We have a full-time strength coach. We're gonna get you stronger. We're gonna use a throwing program. So I want to see how it comes out, how they're moving mechanically. I also like to see the command of the fastball. I think everything, in my opinion, everything plays off of it. There's nothing better. If the whole lineup bats 500, and you throw all strikes, you're going to get out of the inning. It's when you start walking guys, right? So if he's throwing, 90, 91, and he's pinning, he's a Division I arm. It doesn't mean we're not going to recruit you, but, so we're at velo, then really their command, and then what's the off-speed stuff look like? So if I'm at a showcase or I'm at a game and the guy's 88 or he's, 84 to 86, and he can't throw a strike, that doesn't, you could have a big swing in BP, but if you strike out every time, it doesn't really help us. So I would say velo, command, and then stuff. If you have good stuff, like if you get people out, if you carry yourself well on the mound, if your body language is big, if you're picking guys up when you're, Pat Casey has a really good, cool quote when he, from Oregon State, when he when he goes watches guys, if he's watching you, obviously you're good. You're a good player. He knows you can come there. But where are you at? Are you on the front of the step when you're 4 for 4, and are you on the front of the step of the dugout when you're 0 for 4? I think that's huge. I always talk about you never want to compromise your character as our players. So if you're a guy who I'm recruiting and you're throwing your stuff, if you're throwing a hissy fit, that stuff really doesn't matter. I can say I don't want that guy, because I know it's going to take weeks to reinforce that behavior to get it to a place where I need it to be. So I would say, like I said, velo, command stuff, and character. So.
Talk to me a little bit about roster size. What kind of roster size do you guys have at the D2 level, and how does that work with how many arms you carry?
Yeah.
What's that mix look like?
So we have, I think right now we have 45. So that's including red shirts, your injuries, and but we have a JV team, developmental team. They'll go play 10 games. So we're allowed to have 60 games total. So we'll have 50 varsity games and 10 JV games. We're about, we're 25 hitters, 20 arms. And you never have too many arms. You know that. You never have too many arms. That's something, Coach Addy and I are talking about, travel rosters. I'm like, look, we're going to swing it. I don't know how many arms you need. You know what I mean? So we'll be 20 arms. We have some two ways too. So I would say for us, it's 45 is a good number. Honestly, with how we play, and we could get up to 50. I think we've had 48, but to me, and that's as a player, you want to look at that. If I'm on a team of 48 and they don't have a JV team, if I'm a guy who's on no money, but for us, it's nice because hey, you're gonna play in some games, you're gonna play in inter squads on practice. I'm gonna still coach you up. You better believe I'm gonna coach you up during practice. I'm gonna hold you accountable, and then you're gonna go compete against other teams. So you could. It doesn't count against your stats, and you go and play. 10 games, you get 40, 50 at bats, and you're going into your sophomore year, and you have more experience than the guy on another team who didn't have that. So I think that's an advantage for us, because although you're going to come, hey, let's see, we're going to evaluate, see if you can play right away. But if you can't, there's a JV team that's you can get some swings, or you can pitch. You're going to get innings.
How do you guys use walk-ons and red shirts?
Mm-hmm. We don't red shirt a lot. With how our institution's set up and how we pull from all over the place, we don't really see, it's just not what we do. We don't redshirt a lot unless it's, a medical redshirt or, maybe for academic reasons. But walk-on and scholarship, it's all, Division II, as you know, we don't have a percentage. We have a lot of guys on scholarship, but if you're a walk-on, you're treated, the same as anywhere else. I know it's different, like other sports, it's a little different, and some baseball programs, it might be different, but to us, I still couldn't tell you, I know now, but if I walked into practice, I still couldn't tell you who our scholarship guys are and who our scholarship guys aren't, because it's all the same when it comes to an instruction and how you're going to be treated and what you get. It's all the same.
So talk to me a little bit about from the recruiting quarter standpoint, at the D2 level, the number of scholarships you have, funded, not funded, and then how difficult that is to spread the guys.
Yeah.
Everybody, because there's a lot of parents that hey, I'm going to go get a full 100% scholarship in baseball.
Baseball, that's real unrealistic. I know some dudes that I played with that, they're big time players in professional baseball, and you're not going to get a full scholarship. It's just not there in college baseball. No, it does exist, but I don't know how. Division II, there are guys, there are exceptions to it, but if you have a roster of 48, you gotta, you're going to spread it, not thin, but you're going to spread it out. But we're fully funded, which we're fortunate for, so we get all the scholarships that Division II is allotted. And I was saying that we don't have a percentage limit like Division I. So, we can pay, more or less for each player. And that kind of changes as you go. So there might be a player who finishes the season and, who started as a walk-on, and you can earn a scholarship. But I will say you can't bank on that. You know what I mean? You can't bank on that with going in you can earn your scholarship. You just don't know how that goes. If a team is invested, you want to make sure that they're, personally and also financially invested in what you're offering. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about videos in the recruiting process. What do you want to see? What do you want to see first? What are some do's and don'ts there?
So a hitter, I want to see a swing from the side. That's where, I can evaluate big time from the side. I'm going to draw lines on it. I'm going to upload it to apps. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to see how I can coach you up. I want to see video from behind. So I'm talking like BP. I want to see video from behind. I want to see where the ball's going. I want to see how it comes off your bat. I want to see how you're using your backside, the direction of everything. Because from the side, it kind of gets, I watch a lot of video like of big league hitters, so I can tell, but usually from the back, side I can see a lot of things. In the back, I can see where you're going. Direction is really important in my opinion as a hitter. So, and then I want to see live. I want to see how you hit in games, even if it's highlights. I want to see it because I can take what I saw from BP and throw it together with, he's a really athletic and he's catching it in one spot, or is he putting on a really good swing and he needs a mental cue. It kind of gives me the answers to the test a little bit better. And then I want to see you, if you have videos from games, fielding it or gloving it, I want to see that. But I like the highlight. I want to see you at your best because hopefully I can put you at your best. I'm going to coach you up. I'm going to put you in a situation. I'm going to be the guy who's going to elevate you. So to me, skills video is good for defensively and offensively because I'm going to promote that to get it better. I have to be confident in that as a coach. So that I would say that position guys, and then pitchers. I want to see you throw a bullpen, and I want to see you throw live. If you have clips of full ABs, I want to see you between pitches. I want to see what you're throwing in counts. I want to see how your catcher's catching it. You know what I mean? I want to see what hitters are doing on it. Ideally you'd put the guy I'm recruiting at the plate and the guy I'm recruiting on the mound because then I see both. But I want to see a bullpen and I want to see how full. I like seeing full innings. You rarely get that anymore. But if I see hey, even if it's an immaculate inning, I want to see what you did. But that video wise, honestly, probably a 2-minute video and highlight video or skills video, and then an inning or so, or pitching. Or I would say the don'ts of it. Don't put your 60 time on there and no time on it, because I can we did a kid and it was an 8.5. Just don't put it on there. If you're gonna put your 60 time, make sure you include it. Another thing I would say, make sure they're good swings. I've got to evaluate you on not a lot of information. Make sure it's your best. If you make sure it's your best, and then if you're a pitcher, make sure it's you throwing strikes. I get it. We want to get an understanding of what you got, but if you send me a video of you not throwing strikes, that's one of the command is huge. If I want to see you at your best.
So talk to me a little bit about how a player gets a video. What platforms are you looking on to find these videos?
PBR's website. I look on there a lot because all that stuff's verified. Field level, so you connect with other coaches. They'll send you players.
You looking at Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter. I actually have, kind of being on the other side of this now is I'll have coaches just send me video. You better believe I'm going to reach out to a guy if I like it. It doesn't really matter what it comes from. So I like it. Outside sources will send you on Twitter. Email we get a lot. I'll get a lot, and I like that too because that you can tell it's him. The players, searched. Okay, I saw your maybe because we put a lot. I try to put a lot of stuff online for to kind of expose our program, and then if a guy sends an email. So really the biggest ones are probably PBR, field level, and then email. But Twitter as well. I like there's recruits who will follow me on Twitter. I'll look through. If I like it, I'm going to reach out to them. I'm not too proud to reach out a direct message on Twitter. So those are really primary ones.
Talk to me a little bit about high school statistics and references from what kind of value you put on high school statistics and where are you getting references at?
High school statistics really don't, especially in the West Virginia area. It depends on what region you're in, and you could have a poor high school season and still be a really good player. The statistics, I'm more watching, I'm more evaluating based on what I see and what I believe is important. Like the things I talked about earlier, if I can coach it up in this area, or if, how he carries himself when he plays. The references, to me, it's more relationships you've built. So people that I've met in this throughout, doing the ground forces stuff, or, I've met at showcases, or other coaches that may have seen them, or, Coach Rouse might, because he knows everybody, might know the guy. I might reach out to the coach. Hey, is this guy a good fit? And the other thing is just honesty from those people. One of the worst things is you can do, I know from being on the other side with kids on the Aces, is one of the worst things you can do is lie. Because if they lie to me, I'm not going to go back to them for information. So I'd say high school statistics aren't really that important. It's more of what we see when we go watch them.
So do you get to see many high school baseball games in that recruiting timeline?
Yeah.
Or you get into college games or like travel games?
Yeah.
Where are you going to see guys?
I know us. We'll see high school games in May, but you got to think. It's not as many as we're hopefully playing into deep May. Right. So and their season's over by then. So really, where we're going to see guys is if they're on their travel teams. Hey, is your team playing at this event? I'm going to go. Because if you're at a big event, I can see 4 or 5 guys. I'm going to see you guys play against each other. So high school, I wouldn't bank on, especially in West Virginia. You can't bank on college coaches being there. One, that's a pretty big investment to go on a Tuesday night to see one player, or a Wednesday night to see one player. You're going to miss your practice. You're going to have to go see them play, and hopefully you're pitching. Or high school coaches, it's a little different. It's not always guaranteed. But if you go to a travel game, you got a bunch of dudes on one field that want to play college baseball. It's guaranteed. You have a roster. You have all their numbers. Usually, if the coach knows what they're doing, they're going to put that all on a sheet for you. So really where we're seeing most of our players is the summer ball, travel ball, because it's honestly, it's easier and it's more valuable for our time.
So talk a little bit about the communication process. So kids sending an email. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for in that email? Maybe an introductory email.
I would say I'm looking for, where they're from, obviously, about themselves a little bit. I want to know what they know about us. Like you said, I want their video, their GPA. Like I said, I'll cross that off. Any achievements that they've accomplished, I think that's important. So if you're all state, that sticks out. If you're ranked, that sticks out. And then verified information is big too. Here's my profile. Here's me doing this. Here, it makes it easier. So rather than if you send me a blank email with, hey, I want to go to your school, and it's a video you hitting BP with a random guy, I'm gonna have to go do some more digging. But if you can put that all in one spot, I can move on from there. But also give me, if you want me to text you, give me your phone number. An email I can reach you at, times I can reach you at. So I would say overall, just give me, the most information that I can use to better recruit you, and also know if you're going to be a good fit at Salem.
So you get past like the introductory, you see a kid, and it comes time for either you to make a phone call or the kid's calling in. Talk to me a little bit of what happens on that phone call. What do you ask, and how long does that call take?
Usually the first one's about 10 minutes, just getting to know each other, and I make it clear to them, my expectation. Hey, I'm trying to get to know you just as much as you're getting to know me. So, you can't, it's not necessarily love at first sight when it comes to recruiting. So, but usually it's whatever questions they have, I'm going to field, and then I'm going to ask them questions. So usually the questions are, who you playing for, where you're playing this summer, what do you do in your free time, where are you working out, what are your strengths and weaknesses. I like to ask that because if a kid's confident in it, it's like, okay, let's see. If he's really confident in his his slider and he doesn't have it on his highlight video, I don't know. But and then also kind of exposes if he's results based, if he's process driven. Not a lot of guys, high school kids, junior college kids are necessarily, aware of that. So I'm evaluating just as much as they're evaluating us. I want to learn as much as I can in that 10-minute conversation. The next one's usually, if we're still invested, if we communicated via text, I'm going to call you and be like, hey, we want to get you on campus. That's really our process. We're times and dates when you can come down, and additionally, if you have any other questions about how to get here, the official, unofficial visit process. So
once you start, you get an initial phone call. Are you talking twice a day? Are you talking once a month? How often are you communicating with the recruit?
Once or twice a week. Phone call once a week. Maybe not even a phone call once a week. It just depends on the the relationship that we've built, I guess. I like to talk to them at least once a week. I'll text them once or twice a week, check in with them, try to set up another phone call. I'm usually not going to blind phone call a kid. I think that's common courtesy. But just call, see how, this time of year, say, how's training going? How's the high school team looking? Any other updates you want me to know about? Are you still going here? And then usually it's, just once a week, the similar questions, just trying to build that I think the biggest thing is relationship, because overall I'm going to spend a lot of time with you. You're going to spend a lot of time with me. So we better make sure that we're, a good fit for one another.
So I get a travel coach gives me your cell phone number, right? What's the etiquette on texting?
I would say let me text first. I mean, not a lot of, because as text, you read it. I'm reading it in my own way. So I would say be cut and dry, very polite. You don't want to get a lot of dudes or mans in there. I'll send some dudes and mans, every now and again. But, be appreciative. That's a big thing, because when you read a text, you don't know a kid, you can jump to, this kid's not really feeling what I'm saying. I would say just including a thank you is big. If you're invested in if you send me yes, period, that might seem weird, but it's like, I don't know if this kid really wants to, do this now, or he's, and also, when I text you, I understand if I text you during a school day, or text me back within the day. If my time's valuable as well, just as valuable as the player. So I would say texting etiquette is be polite, be prepared. So if, hey, you got any questions, have questions. But then the other thing, be prompt. Don't waste my time either. So I would say that's.
Talk to me about the communication on social media, direct messages, Twitter, through other social media apps. What's the etiquette there?
Similar, I would say the same as text. Don't tweet at me, but you can direct message. Usually when I get a player direct message me, I'll just say, hey, text me. So, and then outside services will send videos too. Twitter's a good place to see videos, so if I might message a kid and have him send me video. But I'd rather text message than shoot a tweet at a kid, or direct message. So I would say that's a good way to open it up. But if you see me on Twitter, you can also email me. You can send me the things that we've talked about before. You can send me a video via email. I mean, to me, that's a little more professional than, hey, coach, I really liked what I saw. Be a little more proactive. Go search my name and send me an email. Shoot me the stuff I need to see.
So any turnoffs in that communication world? Have you had any bad experience? Maybe kids doing stuff that you just, that just didn't sit well?
I would just say, because I'm really in depth in behaviors, man. I want to make sure you're a good fit. I want to make sure that you're a kid I can coach up. I want to make sure you're a kid that's going to be a good fit here, because I invest a lot of time in our culture, and so does Coach Rouse, so does Pete, and so does Albert. So the things that stick out are, a lot of, I claims, or, not. I like confidence, but overconfidence, and I would say just impolite. If a kid's impolite on the phone, I mean, I don't have a lot to judge off of. If they're bashing their coaches, if they're bashing other players, if they're talking about how bad their high school team is or their junior college is, you can say those things in better ways. I mean, have a little bit of feel as to the people around you. So I would say the biggest turnoff is a guy that also makes a lot of demand. There's kids who demand a lot. They'll be like, oh, I need this, I need that. I mean, let's build a relationship before we start asking things from one another. So I would say over demands, and then also just I guess not having a lot of feel to being polite.
Talk to me a little bit about the parents' role in the process. Where do they fit in? How much do you want to hear from them? How much do you want to hear from your kid? How's that work?
I want to hear from the kid. I don't want to hear from your parents. I mean, if I really value the growth of the individual. I think, when you leave here, you don't just, baseball's over in most cases, so I need to develop you as a person. So I think that starts with, you need to reach out to me, not your parents. I think when the parents come in is when you're on the visit. Parents they come on the visit. They can ask. I want them to ask questions because it's their kid. You made an investment to come on the visit. But I think before that, it should be the player driven. I mean, if your parent has a question, ask for them, because I don't have a problem with parents being over the phone, on speaker or whatever. I'm not going to say anything. If I do, your kid probably shouldn't come here because I'm saying something ridiculous. But I would say the parent starts when they get on campus, and I might be different than others, but for me, I want the player to be, if he's invested in his recruiting, he needs to do it. He needs to be the one in control of it, because when you go to college, it's not your parents. It's you. You're coming here. You're going to learn to be a man. You're going to play baseball. You're going to be responsible for your academics. You're going to have to get to weights on time. You're going to have to go to study hall on time. It's not your parents. Your parents aren't going to be there to ask me, hey, what uniform are you wearing? You know what I mean? You need to ask me those things. So I think, although I haven't taught you those skills yet, I think it should be known that you need to be the player needs to be more proactive.
Tell me a little bit about visits. How you guys do visits? Unofficial visits. Official visits, are there differences, time frames? Tell me about how you guys do visits.
So we do a lot. I mean, if you're within like 3 or 4 hours, if it's a day trip, it's an unofficial. If you're like a flight away or a significant drive, you're gonna stay overnight. We'll get you a hotel the night before. You come in. We do our visits almost always in the morning, because then we'll practice in the afternoon, so you can come watch practice, and then on that official. We'll take you to dinner, so sometimes we do one player time, sometimes we do two. If they know each other, usually two, or, we've done kids who don't know each other. It's just, as a smaller institution, or, in our schedules as well, sometimes that's the only date both of you can do it. So, but usually an official visit is you come in, you visit, we'll have lunch, go to practice. If not, go somewhere else, and then we'll meet you for dinner, and then, offer might come out the next day. And unofficial, like I said, if you're closer, it's that same process, just excluding the overnight stay. So you'll meet us in the morning, we'll visit, lunch. If you want to come to practice, and then move on from there.
So in this recruiting world, any interesting stories, visits, or recruits making weird phone calls?
I would say we went out.
Anything you can share?
I don't know. I mean, I might have to think about this a little bit. This is pretty. On the other side of it is you'll have some crazy parents. But I think the biggest thing is taking kids out to dinner, and crazy things they order, or parents might be drinking a lot of wine, or I've been on both sides of that. It's a little different. I would say another thing is parents and players maybe being a little too over welcome. I want you to feel welcome, but I remember doing on-campus stuff at WVU. Like, kids are like in my locker, like putting my stuff on, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. Maybe you should ask. So, I think and we've talked about with players is you have to teach that. You have to teach like social norms and what you value, because obviously if they're doing it the first time they met you, they don't know about it. So I would say there's nothing in particular. There's 2 or 3 times where it's like, man, I would never do that on a visit, but yeah.
So why Salem? If I'm a prospective student athlete out there, baseball player, why here?
So to me, what drew me here is relationships, man. It's like we've talked about before. We have a lot of nice things, but those nice things wear off. After about a week, it really doesn't matter what the unis look like or the facilities. Although I think we have nice unis and nice facilities, it's the people, and I invest a lot in people. My motto or creed or mantra is to positively impact people, and I think Addy fits into that, man. He's here for he's here for a purpose, and so am I. I'm here to to help as many people as I can, and I think the reason what separates us is like we talked, the difference between Olympic gold medalists is not their goals, it's their systems. It's how they get there. So we do mental training 3 times a week. We have weights 3 times a week. We have turf field that we can practice on. The environment that is built here is that you're going to come and work. You're going to have a lot of fun, and also you're going to build the character to be a better person. So to me, like what Salem is it's a place that you're going to grow and you're going to get better. I've never been around a group of guys that add more value. But that starts at the top. So as me, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to be positive. But I can promise you're going to work. And those skills are going to be paramount. I don't know what it's like at other places, but I can tell you if you come here, I'm going to hold you accountable, and you're going to love the experience, and you're going to get better. So
great. JT Heenan, recruiting coordinator, Salem University. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Marty.